Welcome to Module 4 of the Skipper's Ticket Theory Revision Package, and this module is about navigation lights on a boat. Vessels must be fitted with navigation lights when operating at night or in restricted visibility. This is mainly so other vessels can see you. Power boats need a port and starboard light and an all-round white light. The all-round white light can comprise of a masthead and stern light. Let's have a look at that. This diagram shows how the masthead and stern light interact with the boat. At the front here we have a masthead light which does the first 225 degrees of light. Then we have a stern light which does the final 135 degrees of light. These lights are separate units but together display 360 degrees of white light. We also have a port light on the left port side of the boat, which is 112.5 degrees. We also have a starboard light on the right side or the starboard side of the boat, which is also 112.5 degrees. There's no need to remember these specific degrees. Just know that power boats must have a port side light, a starboard side light, and 360 degrees of white light, depending on whether that's made with a masthead or a stern light. Let's have a look at that in more detail. This is an example of how that light can be configured. In the example on the left, we have a red port side light and a green starboard side light. That's the same between the diagrams. The difference is this boat has the first sector of white light made with a mast headlight, which is possibly mounted up here at the top of the boat. Again, this does the first 225 degrees or front part of the boat. And then we have a stern light down the back here, which is a separate unit, as we said, which displays that final arc of light out the back of the boat. You'll still see the same amount of light looking at this boat from a distance because this light does not protrude into this area. So if you're looking at the boat from this direction, you'll see this white light. But if you're looking at the boat from this direction, you'll see this white light, but of course not this white light. The boat on the right is a bit simpler where we have a port side light and a green starboard side light. We have one light here on the mast with 360 degrees total of white light. Both are acceptable in different scenarios depending on the size of the boat. Let's have a look at that in more detail. Both options have the port and starboard lights, as we discussed, and 360 degree total of white light. This one has 360 degrees with one light, and this one has a total of 360 degrees made out of two lights. Boats over 12 metres must have the broken line, so this configuration is required on boats over 12 metres. Boats under 12 metres can have this structure or this structure. More commonly, boats under 12 metres will have this light setup. However, they are allowed to have both, or either. So we recap that power boats have port and starboard side lights and 360 degrees of white light, which can either be an all-round white light for boats under 12 metres or a masthead and stern light, which is allowed on all boats. Here's an example of how the boat under 12 metres might display their lights. This boat uses an all-round white light, so it must be under 12 metres, has side lights mounted on the side, red and green, and that light poking up from the top of the boat, unobstructed by anything, not obstructed by the helm, not obstructed by the outboard motor. This is an example of what you'd see at night if you were navigating, looking at a boat underway at night. If you saw green, white and red, you know you're looking at the bow of a boat and it is probably coming straight towards you. If you're looking at a white and a green light, you're looking at the starboard side of the boat and the boat is moving across from left to right. If you're looking at just a white light, it is the stern of the boat because you're unable to see the green and red side lights from the stern. And if you're looking at the port side of the boat, you will see a red and white light and the boat will be moving from right to left. If you saw this configuration here, that means you need to alter your course to the right because as we said in number 3, collision avoidance, when meeting vessels head on, you must alter your course to the right to avoid. So this vessel would see your lights and you'd see his lights in this configuration. This vessel should turn to the right and you should turn to the right to avoid a collision. If you see this here, you can tell that this vessel is approaching from your right. It's moving from left to right. So you must turn to the right to go behind. If you see this configuration, you know this vessel is approaching from your left. So you have right of way, meaning you'll continue your course steady, but cautiously. There are some exceptions to the navigation lights on boats, and let's have a look at those now. Vessels under 7 metres and capable of less than 7 knots in speed only need an all-round white light. They are allowed to display side lights, but they're not required to display the red and green side lights. They only need to display 360 degrees of white light. And this is what that looks like. So a vessel that might be under 7 metres, less than 7 knots is a little skiff, tender or dinghy. And at night, that vessel needs to display that all-round 360 white light, obviously unobstructed. And that's what that vessel might look like at night. You would see white light from all angles because that's the only light they display. The other exception is sailing boats under 7 metres, which are required to carry a lantern or waterproof torch only. The condition is the waterproof torch must be able to be displayed or shone at the approaching boat in enough time to prevent a collision. Here's an example of how lights look on sailing boats over 7 metres. Sailing boats over 7 metres are not required, in fact, do not have a mast headlight. Sailing boats over 12 metres only have a stern light and side lights. Seven to 20 must display these lights at the top of the mast. Sailing boats over 20 metres must display the stern light at the stern of the boat and the side lights at the front of the boat. And this is what you might see when you're looking at a sailing boat versus looking at a power boat. When you're looking at a sailing boat, the key difference is, if you're looking at the sailing boat head on, you'll see green, red, but not white, whereas the power boat, you'll see green, red, and white. This is important because on the water we must give way to sailing boats at all times. So this difference in light scheme allows us to identify that the boat approaching us is a sailing boat and we must give way regardless of the side it is approaching from. Similarly, when we look at the starboard and the port of the boat, we don't see the white light as well, further helping us understand that this is not a power boat but a sailboat. When looking at the sailboat from the stern, it appears the same as the power boat from the stern. This is okay because when we're looking at a vessel's stern, we're not required to give way at any time. Vessels at anchor must display a 360-degree white light. Let's recap what we've learned in this module. What lights do power boats need? Port, starboard, and 360 degrees of white light. Power boats over 12 metres must have what type of white light? Or what configuration of white light? They must make their white light with a mast headlight and a stern light. Power boats under 12 metres require what type of white light? Either a mast head and stern light or an all-round white light. More commonly, the all-round white light, but either is fine. What light do you need when anchored if your boat is under 50 metres? A 360-degree white light. Sailboats under 7 metres only need what type of lighting? Sailboats under 7 metres only need a lantern or waterproof torch that they can display in enough time to prevent a collision. Vessels under 7 metres and not capable of a speed more than 7 knots may display just an all-round white light. Side lights for these vessels are optional. Sailboats, irrespective of size, display in some form a stern light and port and starboard side lights. The sailboat does not display a mast headlight.